Hey class, this is lesson 3.8, slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. You will learn to relate slope to parallel and perpendicular lines. You'll be able to write equations for both parallel and perpendicular lines given some information. All right, here's the review. Line B is perpendicular. Line B is perpendicular. Line B is parallel to the x-axis. Line A is parallel to the y-axis. And the x-axis is perpendicular to the y-axis. The converse, if the sum of the measure of the angles of the polygon is 180, then the polygon is a triangle. The inverse, if the polygon is not a triangle, then the sum of the angles is not equal to 180. And the contrapositive, if the sum of the measures of the angles of the polygon is not 180, then the polygon is not a triangle. All right, the vocab, the one I'm worried about here is that you know that the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. That's important in the lesson today. All right, key concepts, slopes of parallel lines. If two non-vertical lines are parallel, then their slopes are equal. If the slopes of two distinct non-vertical lines are equal, then the lines are parallel. Any two vertical lines or horizontal lines are parallel. So we're going to circle the correct statement here. And a vertical line is parallel to any vertical line. That's correct. And any two non-vertical lines that are parallel have the same slope. So to check that CF two lines on a coordinate grid are parallel, they sure look parallel in this problem. But to make sure, we're going to use the slopes. So we're going to find the slope. Let's call this line L and this line M. So we'll find the slope of line L. So maybe we should let's come up with a notation that'll work for this. We'll say L sub slope is equal to. We're going to use our slope formula where we subtract the y variables, find the difference in the x variables, and then we divide them. So for line L, we're going to use -5 minus 3 and -3 minus 1. And that's equal to -8 divided by -4, which is 2. And now we're going to find the slope of M, and that's equal to 4 minus -2 divided by 5 minus 2. And that's equal to 6 over 3, which is 2. Since we got the same slope, so L slope is equal to M slope, we know those two lines are parallel. All right, number 12. To determine whether L3 and L4 are parallel, we want to check to see if they have the same slope. So we're going to enter those values into the slope formula, and we end up with -1/3. The slope of line 4, L4, is equal to minus 7 divided by the quantity 3 minus 6. And that's equal to -1 divided by -3, which is 1/3. Are the slopes equal? No. Are lines L3 and L4 parallel? No. Since the slopes are not equal. right, what is an equation in slope-intercept form of the line parallel to y equals 4x minus 2 that contains the point -2, -2? Since we have the slope we need right here, the slope has to be the same, 4. So m is 4. And we have a point, -2, -2. Let's use the point slope form. So y minus y sub 1 is equal to the slope times the quantity x minus x sub 1. We just need to substitute in values. We're going to substitute -2 for y sub 1. We're going to substitute 4 for the slope. We're going to substitute -2 for the x value. And then we're going to simplify. Y plus 2 is equal to 4. And I'm going to multiply this out because we want slope-intercept form, so we're just going to simplify it to point so that we have slope-intercept form. So we have 4x plus 8. And if I subtract 2 from both sides, I get y equals 4x plus 6. And that is the equation of line. One way to check it is just make sure that it contains that point. So 4 times -2 plus 6. That's equal to -8 plus 6, which is -2. And that's the y value I need from that point. All right? And so on the next problem, the slope of the line y equals -x minus 7 is -1. So the equation of line parallel to y equals the opposite of x minus 7 will have a slope equal to -1. Find the equation of line using point slope form, so that's this one. So y minus 3 equals -1 times the quantity x minus -5. That's the same as -x minus 5. And if I add 3 to both sides, I get -x minus 2. All right? So, another key concept, slopes of perpendicular lines. If two non-vertical lines are perpendicular, then the product of their slopes is -1. Just a note, that means they are opposite reciprocals. Here's an example, 1/2 and -2 over 1, which equals -2. 1/2 and -2 are opposite reciprocals. All right, the second bullet, and take note, is a contrapositive of the first bullet, that is false. And the product of the slopes of any horizontal line and any vertical line is -1. I think that's false, but any horizontal line and any vertical line are perpendicular. So that's the one exception for the slopes of the two lines have a product of -1. Remember that the slope of a vertical line is undefined, so it's pretty hard to multiply it by the slope of a horizontal line and get -1. All right, so to see if these lines are perpendicular in the graph, we're going to use the concepts up above. We're going to find the slopes and make sure their product is equal to -1. All right, so let's call this one M and this one L. So our L slope is equal to 4 minus 1 over Smartboard just had a moment there. 4 minus 1 over 2 minus negative 4, and that's equal to 3, 6, which is 1/2. So now we're going to find the slope of m, and that's equal to negative 4 minus 5 divided by 1 minus negative 2, which is equal to negative 9 over 3, which that simplifies to negative 3 over 1. And just to make sure, let's multiply those. I think we can see what's going to happen though. Negative 1/2 times negative 1/2 times negative 3 is negative 3 over 2, which is not equal to negative 1. So the lines are not perpendicular. All right. So lines L3 contains the points, those points A and B. L4 contains points C and D. Are L3 and L4 perpendicular? Let's check it out. Finding the slopes. We would use 7 minus negative 1 divided by 2 minus 3, which is equal to 8 over negative 1, which is negative 8. The slope of 4 is equal to 7 minus 6 over 8 minus negative 2, which is 1 over 10. And so negative 8 times 1 over 10 is equal to negative 8/10, which is not equal to negative 1. So they're not perpendicular. I'll put this work over here. Do that right now. They are not perpendicular because their slopes don't equal negative 1. All right, what is equation in slope-intercept form for the line perpendicular to y equals 3x plus 2 that contains 6, 2? I'm going to have to stop the video here. I'm running out of time, so there'll be a part 2 to this video.